Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Fright Friday right here on Night Owl Video. And today I am talking about this truly terrifying film, The Entity. This was a first time watch for me, and after enduring Laser Blast, this was actually kind of a palate cleanser, if you will, although a disturbing one. So today we're going to be talking about the cast, production. I have a fair bit of notes about this, so I hope you'll stick around. Thank you to everybody who's recently subscribed. I'm almost up to, as of recording of this video, I think I'm at 247. So welcome to all my new subscribers. Hope you're enjoying the content. Hope you'll stick around. I don't do a lot of reviews of movies on VHS, but in this case, this was a recent pickup, and it was a movie I'd never seen, but I often heard about because it's a fairly infamous movie. So I was glad to finally get around to watching this one. So this movie, before I start, this movie does revolve around sexual assault and things like that. So if you find that kind of content, I mean, I'm not going to get super graphic, but if that kind of stuff disturbs you, you may not want to watch this review. Again, I'm not going to be going into like graphic detail, but I do mention sexual assault a few times throughout this review because that's what this movie's about. They use the R word, which I'm going to probably try to avoid just because I think I've heard from other YouTubers that you can get flagged if you use that word a lot. So, yeah. So, yeah, this is a heavy movie, my friends. This is a horror psychological film from 1982. It was directed by Sidney J. Furie, who also directed Iron Eagle as well as Superman 4. Which is weird, especially when you watch this movie. You're thinking, how did you make the jump from this to like 5 years later doing Superman 4? But this stars Barbara Hershey in the lead role. She was also in The Right Stuff, Hannah and Her Sisters, as well as Black Swan. This also stars Ron Silver, who is in Silent Rage and Time Cop. He has since passed away, so rest in peace, Ron Silver. He was a really good actor in this film, as well as Barbara Hershey. The synopsis for this film: single mother Carla Moran, played by Barbara Hershey, is sexually assaulted and attacked by an invisible force. She begins therapy with Dr. Phil Snyderman, played by Ron Silver, a psychiatrist who believes Carla's traumatic past is motivating her to commit self-induced injuries rather than anything supernatural. When the attacks continue, Carla invites two college students with an interest in the paranormal to visit her house. After seeing the ghost in action, they agree to help Carla defeat her invisible attacker. So, like the novel, the film is based on a true case, 1974's case of Doris Bither, a woman who claimed to have been repeatedly sexually assaulted by an invisible entity, and who was observed by doctoral students at the University of California in Los Angeles. The screenplay, like the novel, introduces several elements that were not investigated as part of the Bither case, including allegations of spectral sexual assault and the capture of an entity. So that part was added in. In a rare interview with Rue Morgue magazine in July of 2012, director Sidney J. Furie told journalist Michael Doyle that he did not consider The Entity to be a horror film in spite of its extreme imagery, unsettling atmosphere, and horrific plot. Instead, Furie said he considers The Entity to be more of a, quote, supernatural suspense movie. Furie also confessed that he intentionally avoided researching the actual case, which The Entity is based on, because he did not want to judge the characters and story in any way. Neither he nor actress Barbara Hershey met with Doris Bither, who was the person who experienced this in real life. The woman on whom the character of Carla Moran was based on. So they did not meet with her at any point before or during the filming. Several actresses were considered for the role of Carla Moran, including Jill Clayburgh, Sally Field, Jane Fonda, and Bette Midler, but all four declined the offer. Barbara Hershey was cast in the role only 10 days before production began. Hershey had hesitations about the part due to the nudity in the screenplay, but she agreed to it after director Sidney J. Furie assured that the nude sequences would be accomplished with body doubles and mannequins. Principal photography for the entity began in Los Angeles on March 30th of 1981, and the shoot lasted for a period of 10 weeks and was completed in late June of 1981. Stylistically, Furie and his cinematographer Stephen H. Burham employed frequent use of close-ups and Dutch angles. You can leave a comment below. I meant to look up what Dutch angles mean, but I think it's like when it's like this and like extreme close-ups. I did read a bit of like film theory, and that's like to cause a sense of like confusion or disruption, or just when you see a character at an angle like that, it's to sort of imply like something's not right, everything is kind of off. Also, I also learned this too, and I noticed this in the film too, like when you see a character like and the camera's shooting the character from above, it's to show that character's kind of like in a more like submissive role, or like there's a power over that character. And then when the camera's shooting up to a character, it's to show that they have sort of like power over the other character in the scene, which I thought was kind of interesting. You film nerds out there might know more about this stuff than I do. I just read like one of those like film study like textbooks, and I read about that. So those like Dutch angle, I think it's like close, like kind of weird, and it's like up close. And this movie really does that, because when I first put this on, all of the shots were like really close up on the characters, and at first I thought it was really weird because this movie is a VHS, so it's in that 4:3 ratio aspect. So when I play it on my widescreen TV, it's like squished, and then like the characters are like really close to the camera, like just really like close up like this. And at first I was a little off-putting, and I was like trying to change the settings on my TV to like stretch it out a bit, but I realized shortly into the film that, oh, this was like intentional. So a little off-putting at first, to be honest, but interesting that they used that technique. The majority of the special effects in the film were achieved using practical effects and were supervised by the one and only Stan Winston. So the reception for this film, the film opened in the United Kingdom in September of 1982 and was met by protests from women's rights groups who deemed the film offensive due to its graphic depictions of sexual assault. 20th Century Fox released the film in the United States in February 1983 with little pre-publicity. It grossed $3.7 million during its opening weekend, going on to gross a total of $13.3 million. In response to the protests against the film, star Barbara Hershey publicly responded, telling a reporter, quote, "I resent being put in the position of defending the film. We worked really hard not to make it exploitative. Our words, sexual assault is one of the ugliest, if not the ugliest thing that can happen to someone. It's murder of a sort. I have no answer to those people who are offended," unquote. And I felt that was kind of important to put that in there, that, you know, the actress was like clearly defending the art, and I thought that was important. This film has a 62% on Rotten Tomatoes based on 13 reviews, so that's not many reviews. I think it kind of has an average rating. I did sample this from Wikipedia. American film theorist Michael Atkinson lauded the film, writing, quote, "There may not be, outside of David Cronenberg's Wonder Cabinet, a more nitro-powered horror movie metaphor hell than that fueling this post-Exorcist remnant. It's like the movie is writing its own library of fiery feminist theory. It remains unnerving and savage, arguably the most eloquent movie ever made in Hollywood about the struggle of the sexual underclass," unquote. And I thought that really captured the, after watching this movie and having all those feelings, that really captured it. On a downward note, apparently there's a remake in the works, and apparently James Wan is attached to it. I mean, James Wan has done some great stuff, but do we really need to remake another great classic horror movie like this? Please stop. As far as home media goes, Anchor Bay released the entity on DVD in 2002 and later reissued a standalone Blu-ray disc in July of 2012. On June 2019, Scream Factory released a collector's edition Blu-ray disc of the film featuring new interviews and other newly commissioned bonus material. This is a VHS tape, clearly from 1993 from Fox Video. There's the back of the cover. Barbara Hershey looking very scared. It says, a fascinating fact-based tale. That's what Variety had to say about this film. My thoughts on this film, wow. I mean, I'm so glad I picked this up and watched it. It's not an easy watch. It's very disturbing, but I would easily give this a 4 out of 5. Barbara Hershey was just so good in this film. Like, the whole time I was watching it, I thought, like, imagine being that actor and like having to do that and portray those things going on the screen. Like, it must have been so challenging. Ron Silver also was really good as the psychologist in this film. Really convincing as he tried to like struggle with like, you know, Barbara Hershey's doing this to herself versus like, is this like some kind of entity or poltergeist? And he played it really well. He really was like angry that these like students, these paranormal students were coming in and taking over Barbara Hershey's kind of like experiences and stuff and like trying to figure it out. And he got really upset with them. And the whole tension behind all those between those characters was really, really well done. I don't want to give away too much of the movie, but the med students did, or paranormal students, or whatever you want to call them, they did kind of recreate her house in this kind of like a more clinical setting to try to capture the spirit or the entity. And the whole set for that was just crazy. Like, I couldn't believe how much work they put into creating that set. I thought that was really, really cool. The whole vibe of this movie, the assaults are really disturbing. And again, Barbara Hershey's acting, she's so convincing in this role, and it just leaves you kind of feeling really unsettled, and nobody's kind of around her is like believing this is happening to her, and it's just all in her mind, and she's got all these like problems from her past that is causing her to do all these things to herself, but clearly it's not. And so you're so like, you get so frustrated with the psychologists and the other professionals that she goes to, and they just won't listen to her. And by the end of it, you're just like, oh, like, it's almost exhausting, really. Like, you really feel like her exhaustion watching this film. So hats off to Barbara Hershey for her acting in this role. Just really incredible. I don't know if I'd rewatch this many more times in my life. Maybe once or twice, maybe. This is like Poltergeist, but like obviously not like a Steven Spielberg. This is like a darker story. This is a true story based on a true story. But if you like those kind of movies, it's I would say it's a much darker version of Poltergeist, but kind of had that same feel of like things moving in the house and doors slamming and windows shutting and weird noises and things like that, and but very, very unsettling. Highly recommend this film if you like horror, psychological thrillers, and you're okay with the content, the story here, because like I said, it is pretty disturbing. So if that's not for you, then I probably would not recommend this film. But this is The Entity on CBS Fox Home Video from 1993. I just picked this up recently. There's the tape itself. It's in pristine condition. I don't think this was an ex-rental. There's a little bit of wear and tear on the cover, but otherwise it's in really nice shape. Not crazy about the cover art. I can't remember what the original cover art for this film was, but I don't think this was it. This looks like a very early 90s cut and paste on a MS-DOS paint program or something, but yeah, cool movie. Obviously, there's no special features. It's a VHS, but this film is rated R in Canada. It is, let's see what else. It does. I do not see the runtime on here. Sometimes it says on the tape itself, but no, it does not say. I think, oh, sorry, it's 119 minutes, so just shy of 2 hours. So it is a longer movie. If I had one thing to say, it might be that this movie could have been about 15 to 30 minutes shorter, but because there was a lot of stuff, and one of the reviewers did say like the assault scenes and the hauntings and all that stuff really, really good, but the science parts in between were a little dull. So I think if they had tightened up some of those more like scientific explanation scenes, this would have been like really, this probably could have been a 5 out of 5 for me. But again, I'm not going to pick this part apart because I really did like this movie and I would highly recommend it. So let me know your thoughts on this film. Did you see this? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Give me the thumbs up if you like this kind of content or this review. Consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Follow me over on Instagram at Night Owl Video. I'm going to try to be a little more active on Instagram. I was thinking sometimes when I go out, like I see a lot of movies that I don't buy. And I've definitely become more, I'm starting to become more picky just because I'm starting to get kind of overrun. So I was thinking maybe like on my Instagram, I could just post like cool videos that I see out in the wild. Not buy them, but just take photos and just kind of create some extra content that way. But anyway, again, let me know your thoughts on this film, The Entity from 1982, in the comments below. If you missed it this past Tuesday, I did review this gem, Laser Blast, a Charles Band production. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you might want to go back and check that out. I did not have a thrifting haul video this week because I just didn't really find much when I was out this week. So maybe next week I will have some thrifting haul content, but this week just reviews. So Laser Blast this past Tuesday, The Entity today. And again, I hope you enjoyed this content. Thank you to all my new subscribers for joining. And until next time, I will see you at the video store or the thrift store or just out and about somewhere. Until then, please take good care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.